France were responsible for England's World Cup exit on Saturday night. For more on their perspective now, we can speak to French football expert and journalist Jonathan Johnson. Always good to see you, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us. What's been the reaction out in France to that game on Saturday?
Oh, one of jubilation. Obviously, the French delighted to advance to the semi-finals. I think there's a growing feeling of optimism now surrounding their chances of potentially defending their title. And obviously now a very interesting matchup with Morocco, given there is a sizable Moroccan community in France, notably in Paris. They were very vocal on the streets over the weekend, celebrating not only their victory to make it to the semi-finals, first African team to do so, but also the fact that they were coming up against France, which, many of the members of that squad, I think, wanted, given the strong links between the two nations. So, perhaps a bit of surprise at the strength of the character shown by this France side, which many felt had deteriorated a bit since their 2018 success, but delighted all the same to get past the Three Lions.
Now, I am not offering an opinion on this, but some people think that France were quite lucky on Saturday. What do people in France think?
I think there is definitely a recognition that there was, some luck element to the victory, but also I think that there was a feeling of, a sense of pride in a way that the team were able to dig deep. Olivier Giroud said after the game that it reminded him of France's success against Belgium in 2018 on their way to winning that title, and I think many people in France felt the same as well. So obviously, naturally delighted with the result, but also given the rivalry between the two nations, there's a big sense of satisfaction as well, but a recognition at the same time that perhaps the refereeing was not up to scratch.
Incredibly, Kylian Mbappe was actually kept quite quiet. What does that say about the France team, that they can still pull off a result like this even when Mbappe isn't at his best?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, the fact that you've got that service line between Griezmann and Giroud that still functions so well after 2018, that is, cause for optimism. Also, the fact that Ousmane Dembele, offers another outlet in attack, that is also, very encouraging for the French as well. I think the one thing that remains that really sort of makes the French wary coming up against the likes of Morocco between now and a potential final as well is the fact that France is still conceding goals. Obviously, England scored against them, so that's one goal conceded at least in every game so far this World Cup. And there is this feeling that unless they can tighten up defensively, they might not be able to go all the way. But certainly, knowing that Kylian Mbappe has been shackled once before in this tournament, France will now be wary that they can't be too one-dimensional with the way that they approach the remaining games in Qatar.
Well, I tell you who wasn't shackled, and that was Antoine Griezmann, playing in a kind of more central role, a number 10 role. How integral is he now to the team?
Oh, he's absolutely vital. I mean, he was in Russia, and he is still. Didier Deschamps has been very loyal to him, perhaps a little too loyal at times, given how much his form has suffered with Barcelona and then again with Atletico Madrid. But he's really come back into his own this season. A bit fresher than most, obviously, given his situation with Atleti and Barcelona until there was that compromise over the contractual agreement. But, Griezmann now, by far and away, France's most key player. You look at those assists. Against England. And, it was phenomenal from him. And I think he's a very strong candidate to potentially be player of the tournament, especially if France should be able to make the final.
Well, it should be able to make the final, you're saying. You've touched on Morocco already. How much confidence is there within France that they can just get past Morocco fairly easily and get into the final?
I don't think anybody will be looking at Morocco thinking that they'll be able to get past them easily. But I think now France realise that this is a very, very good opportunity to get into back-to-back World Cup finals, give themselves the chance of defending that title as well. It's I think given that they know so much about many of the Moroccan players, either players who are plying their trade in France or who have dual nationality, so they do know what they're coming up against. I think obviously France will feel a little more confident as well, given that Morocco are dealing with a couple of injury issues at this moment in time. Some of their key players, notably in defence, Aguerd of West Ham, Saïss as well, formerly of Wolves, and Mazraoui as well, have been dealing with injury issues the last couple of games. So they'd obviously be big blows for Morocco if they do miss out on them. But France won't just be, concentrating on those three. They know that there is quality all over that pitch. There's been some absolutely outstanding individual performances as well as collective from this Moroccan side. So nobody in France will be underestimating the Atlas Lions.
And just go into a little bit more detail on that rivalry between the two nations. You says there are a lot of Moroccans, particularly in Paris. Just explain that one to us.
Well, obviously, it's something that has, a lot of colonial history, similar to the links between Spain and Morocco. There is, a huge Moroccan community, notably in Paris, who, I can hear very loudly on the streets every time Morocco get a positive result, which obviously has been, pretty much every game so far this World Cup. But they bring a lot of color, a lot of flavor, to not just international football, but domestic football as well. You've got outstanding performers like Unahi performing very, very well, and he's playing in Ligue 1 at this moment in time. But there is, a number of the players in the France squad, the coach as well, Regragui, born in France. But spent his international career and since has started his managerial career in Morocco. So there's many sort of links, between the two sides. And, I think that there will be a lot of needle in this game. And obviously their ability to communicate with each other in French, I think the sort of trash talking, so to speak, will definitely be at a high. So expect a bit of aggro there.
Yeah, and France, of course, won it in 2018. How much will that help them going all the way this time?
I think the experience aspect of it is huge. I mean, you look at some of the key performers from that victory over England, Hugo Lloris, as well as Griezmann and Giroud, Varane as well. These are guys who, if they don't already have 100 caps, they're pushing 100 caps, and, they still have something to give at international level. So I think having been part of that 2018 success, that's obviously a huge part of what Didier Deschamps has been able to build with this French team. But I think as well, something that was really interesting coming into the tournament was the sense of loss that France felt, losing players like Benzema, like Nkunku, like Kimpembe, sort of very late on, just before the tournament started. It kind of gave Didier Deschamps the material to really, galvanize that team chemistry, and because of that, they've been able to build a similar kind of understanding to the one that they had in 2018, which made them, so potent back then.